Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. This is the world's #1 make-believe real estate podcast. I love doing this show because every week we get to go on a guided tour through a different person's imaginary dream home. They're always pushing the limits with mind-blowing houses and weird technologies and magic and all that cool stuff. They make weird, unique rooms, and I ask them, I'm like, hey, could you come up with appliances and technologies that we don't even have so they can solve your very unique problems? People do that, and really it's just good old-fashioned creativity and silliness. Fantasy House podcast is NSFW. It's not safe for work, although we're super Mr. Rogers inspired. It's a lot more of an adult Mr. Rogers experience, so it's raw, it's honest. We talk about sex, drugs, people's bathroom habits. Sometimes people take us to dark places, and we're all about authenticity and really reigniting that carefree, playful spirit we had when we were 4 or 5 years old. Just fearless exploring of our imaginations and ourselves. Do you remember that? I love that. I feel like we need that as adults too. And that's what I want to facilitate with Fantasy House. I want to inspire people to explore that again, get that feeling, that little fire lit inside for story time and imaginary make-believe time and just being ourselves. And it really is a great time. In Nathan Hurd's episode, he has a zero gravity room. So you just go in the room, flip a switch, and you're floating around. Jade Catapretta has a lazy river going through her fantasy house that has sexualized dolphins in it. Fifi Dosh has a private hot tub on top of a private mountain in her backyard. John and Tom from Chad Goes Deep, their fantasy house is actually a cloud that floats around like an RV in the sky. So they can go anywhere they want. Nick the plumber, he's got a live studio audience. So when he's with his family and he drops the punchline of one of his dad jokes, he gets a real applause. Joel Jimenez loves to cook, and by the way, is an amazing cook. But in Joel Jimenez's fantasy house, he doesn't want to clean up. He hates cleaning up. Loves to cook, hates cleaning up. Well, he's got a kitchen that washes itself. In episode 94, Mike Ishak's kitchen is just a portal to his aunt's Indonesian kitchen, so he can have ringdung anytime he wants, which I've never had ringdung in real life, but we had it on his episode imaginarily, and if it's anywhere as delicious as it is fun to say, it's got to be good, right? Ringdung. Jeremiah Watkins did a Halloween episode, and his toilet paper dispenser is a mummy that you just unwrap and wipe your butt with. Nat Baymel doesn't even have a bathroom. Speaking of bathrooms, he simply has a wizard. Anytime you need to go, the wizard appears and just makes your bowels empty. Just abracadabra, poof. Or poop, poop, poof. So cool, right? Every episode is brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky. I am your local Southern California realtor. Not just a fantasy realtor. No, a really real realtor. And I would love to help you with anything real estate related, whether you're thinking about buying a house, selling a house, maybe you're interested in why I love multifamily apartment buildings, any of that. I would love to be of service. And if you're thinking, John, I don't care about real estate at all, that's great. But I know you know someone who does. And you got to let them know. You got to say, hey, before you go making any moves, you got to talk to my boy, Jon Shefsky. He's a really real realtor, and he would love to be of service. And I really would. And even if you're not in SoCal, I can still help you because I have a referral network all over the country with some fantastic agents, and it's growing all the time. So check in with me. Let me know, because I got agents in Nashville, in Chattanooga, Austin, Texas, Boise, Idaho, Phoenix, Arizona. I got you covered. And like I said, that list is just growing. So just think of me when you're thinking of real estate. Be like, I'm going to hit Shefsky up before I do anything. Just send me an email, fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to be of service or help in any way. My guest today, we've had a huge break. I had 5 or 6 escrows. They were super time intensive between that, family, and the pandy. I just was not able to give Fantasy House the love that it deserves. So now we're back. And how are we back? We're celebrating with one of my best friends, one of my favorite guests on Fantasy House, one of the most hilarious creative comedians. And just the chemistry of collaboration with this man is just always fire. He's my road dog. Sandro Iocolano is here, and we're gonna rock. So in the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this.
Hi, I'm Sandro Iocolano from Florida, Michigan, and this is my Fantasy House kitchen.
Yes. Oh, dude, the new NPR style intro. I'm actually really excited about that. Well, dude, my sweet baby Sandy Rowe. Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you, and I've done these a few times, and I always, have fun. I never remember what I said because it's always in the moment.
That's great.
It's the best.
That's a symptom of good riffing, is that you don't know what happened back then.
Yeah.
I was drugged, or I was just riffing in the moment.
Yeah. Were you on drugs or high, or were you just living in the moment?
It's the same thing, said many Zen masters, bro. How many episodes have we done together? I think this will be our third or fourth, right?
I think it's the fourth.
Oh man, may the fourth be with you. Star Wars Day. May the fourth be with you.
The fourth be with you. I thought people just had a lisp when that came out.
May the fourth be with you.
Yeah, I thought it was the fourth, and then they were just saying it. It's like when you say Facebook.
Oh,
Facebook? You're not talking about like Christianity on online.
Actually, ironically, if you're on Facebook, you probably are just talking about Christianity or anti-vaccine stuff.
Oh yeah. Just whatever.
Hi, I'm on Facebook, which means I'm just smart enough to read articles and look at data, but not smart enough to decipher the probability of data being true or relevant. Welcome back.
Yeah, I read the most riveting headline today.
Yeah, did you read the article? Well, the part that was in bold, that was the article, right? It's about as long as a tweet. No, that was the title.
Well, yeah, it's an article of the written thing, right?
Oh, good argument, man.
You could make. That's the beautiful thing about the English language is that it's made for law and it's made for manipulation.
It really is. Speaking of made in America, my guest today looks like Mike Rowe, but sounds like Mike Schmo. Give it up for some. Okay. But honestly, though, we should. Let's rock and roll. Let's get into it. Okay. I want to go to your fantasy house kitchen.
I want to get this text message out of the way.
Do it.
Because I have to... I'm doing a podcast with Shefsky right now, period. FYI, period. Are you on your period? Period? Okay. Okay, sorry about that.
No, I love it that we're not editing that out. Okay, let's go. Let's do your fantasy. Oh, do you have to wait for a reply before so you can focus?
No, it's okay.
I want our listeners to know, like, Sandro he's a successful entertainer, and that means that he could get every text could be the thing that turns him from being, Dave Chappelle in Men in Tights to having the Dave Chappelle show. Right. So it's like you never know like what text is going to come in.
That's true, and also ironically. Fun. Hi, Shefsky.
Well, say hi back for me. Shalom. Okay. Who is it?
Yeah, hold on.
You say it. Lady or?
You say it right now.
Shalom, lady. Who's it?
Nikki.
Oh, it is Nikki? Oh!
So I just audio recorded you saying
that's great. No, that's great, dude. We're having fun with technology, dude.
It's
we can't leave
best.
all the fun with technology up to the people creating the AI that will, give us Skynet. We have to enjoy it too.
Oh yeah. Remember that?
The way what's his name dies in Terminator 2? Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah. That used to scare me when I was a kid.
Yeah, really, really bad. Like it looked like he was getting stung by a bunch of bees that all of a sudden made up their mind. Like it was just.
Oh yeah.
But ironically, I had the phone on airplane mode, but an airplane texted me.
That is so ironic. Whenever I put my phone on airplane mode, I just imagine Leslie Nielsen. All right, let's go to your fantasy house kitchen. What's your fantasy house kitchen look like? Describe it aesthetically. What does it look like?
What it look like? First thing is you walk in. There's a kitchen island. There's always going to be an island. So it's spread out. Big island. The island's got a sink. To the side of that, there is nothing but lights. The first thing is LED lights. I don't give a shit. I like lighting. That's number one, even if it's a kitchen. Then instead of the sink, there is just a waterfall, continuous waterfall, always going. It recycles through the entire house, and it's just ready in reserves. And then from there, more lights. Always lights, around the sink, everywhere. Basically, I like the idea of having a kitchen that has the waterfall and then almost like a mountain like around it. Basically like an outdoor-indoor.
Your kitchen's kind of outdoor-indoor? Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's a great
like an outdoor-indoor kitchen. So you can barbecue and not feel like, you have the sense of barbecue, but it's also it feels like it's natural.
Yeah.
Not like, having a barbecue in the middle of some place and you're like, oh, this is a great cast iron, or aluminum barbecue, which I don't think you should be cooking with aluminum anyways, but
I don't think that's good for you.
It's not good for you. No.
And that's if you cook with aluminum, then you have to say the word aluminium if you're in the UK, and that's not good for you either.
No, it's not, because once you slow that down, it's like, is that the same amount of syllables, aluminum and aluminium? There's a different.
I can't even tell.
I'm not even gonna try. 3 refrigerators, but they're not just refrigerators. They're basically walk-in refrigerators.
Oh, nice, where you can put a full dead body or a cow carcass.
Well, that's the thing. A dead body could be a cow carcass. So technically, and especially if, like the old jokes of like, well, my mother-in-law or whatever, and that could be like a dead cow carcass.
I was thinking more along the lines of Rocky boxing,
Rocky.
I was thinking, I was punching it, but would Rocky punch your frozen mother-in-law in the freezer? Probably, because
freezer.
He's dedicated. He's got to train.
Yeah, he's got to train. There's nothing worse than like getting sloppy. When you're a boxer and you're known for punching meat. What would a vegan punch if that was the vegan's freezer?
Oh, frozen celery, like in bags.
Frozen celery, just like a bunch of gourds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just punching a sack of eggplants.
Oh yeah. Or imagine if you're like a super tough vegan kickboxer, and you dip your hands in honey, and then you dip the honey hands into like
walnuts. And walnuts.
Into walnuts. Or what's that one fruit that's like super weird looking, and they always make
jackfruit?
Jackfruit, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just imagine jackfruit, spiky stuff, all like.
You're talking about the vegan kickboxer, like Tom Poe would like dip his instead of the resin.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah, and then because that would still kill you.
That is beautiful, but it would still kill you. See, guys, vegetables are dangerous too.
Yeah, they're very dangerous. Squash, What I'm saying is, I would like my kitchen to have as much produce as possible, and all of that produce that I don't use will be composted into something else and used. I'm not even sure if I'll ever use that compost or ever put it in the ground. But as long as I'm doing that thing, which is the interim, moment, which is like actually putting the effort to put it in there, I think that's so much like that's the satisfaction of it. Once you start something like that, just the idea of it, then you can just throw it,
It's a healthy habit just to have too. Is to be like, we don't just throw stuff away; we put them back into upcycling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Minimal cabinets, though. Minimal cabinets in the kitchen, because I don't think you need too much stuff in there. Like I like the idea of having everything open and ornamental in the fact that like it looks good, but it's still functional.
Yeah, like my ornamental rug.
Yeah, ornamental. Exactly. Right. They don't call them anymore. They're called amazing.
You're listening to Dad Jokes by Jon Shefsky and Sandro Iocolano. We only joke in dad form.
We'll be right back.
We'll be white. Sarah Silverman made that joke on her show, and it was killer. So y'all can call me a dad joker, but that made it to prime time, baby.
She said, I'll be white back. I'll be white black.
It's actually a great little spot because she says like, I'll be black. And she goes like, sorry, I'll be white black. And then,
oh, that's nice.
I feel like there's like 3 beats to it because, why not? Why not, folks?
Which is ironic because in this day and age, you can't get away with any beats.
That's right.
And they're buying
it's a cultural appropriation.
Yeah, that's
because
appropriate.
Beats come from the Middle East, and they're not for the white man. So if you use them or mention them, cancel.
Schrute.
Oh, Dwight Schrute. That's right.
You got me.
Well, that's why people they go back and they say The Office, Friends, Freaks and Geeks. These are all shows with a lot of racism in them, and they're right because whatever they say is racist, you're racist if you don't agree that other people are right about something being racist.
Yeah. Or else, what the fuck are you going to do? I mean, are you going to sit there and tell me that you're offended at this thing, but you're offended at it, but you're still watching it?
Whatever happened to being offended? That's my question.
Well, that happened. I think offended was before Seinfeld, or it came after Seinfeld.
Offended?
That's like, oh my God. That's like when you get offended by somebody on Facebook that is your friend. It's like, well, you offended them. So of course
I love that.
Yeah. It's like, well, you invited them into your world.
Are you offended? Because you've been offended.
You've been offended. You've been a friend to me.
You've got this island What's the countertop on that island look like, by the way? I need visuals, and I know our listeners love visuals.
I like the idea of almost like a kind of like a tile, but almost like a slate or like a shale kind of like tile, with like the really, really thick grout and all different types of I like, if it doesn't have to be 100% smooth, it can be rough cut, almost like so kind of rough cut. So, and then in certain spots having, like a cutting board, like a granite cutting board or a marble cutting board, something, just not wood. I like wood when I want to get as much of every meal as everything I've cut on there. I want to remain in there.
Yeah.
I want it to get porous. That's what I use wood for. But when it's the rest of it, it keeps the flavors like the dead animals. But normally I would like it like a granite. Some spots we can cut, so it's nice and rough. But there's also spots you can manage, and but mainly just like a lot of space and a lot of lights underneath cabinets. I really like the idea that you can close your eyes and then open them and think that you've eaten all the hallucinogenics out there. So
you like a kitchen that makes you feel like you're on drugs, even if you're as sober as a rabbi in an expensive bar.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very good visual, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I can relate to not wanting to spend a dime in anywhere. To be honest with you.
No, I mean, my friend Adam once took me to like one of those the bars that are like super fancy with the mixologist, and it's like $15 a drink. I ended up spending $100 for a couple people to have like a few drinks. You're like, that wasn't. I still have to go for dinner right now. I could have had a whiskey at home and gone for a nice sushi or steak meal, and yet. So,
but that's the stupid thing is because when I'm in those places, I end up getting something because it's the same kind of logic that when you're like at a sporting event or like a ball game.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a $17 plastic cup of beer. That's what it's going to be.
Ahead of time, like you said, you're planning on it. You know when you're going to do it. You're paying for the experience, and you're helping the economy.
Yeah, that's all I want to do is help the economy. That's all. Every day when I wake up in the morning, I meditate and then I say, what can I do to help the economy?
I'm going to sing that song when I wake up tomorrow. All I want to do is help the economy. I got a feeling I'm probably the only one. Because like everybody else is just figuring out how to help themselves. But don't you want to help the economy?
I do. I really want to help. I really want to help the economy of myself.
You pointed at yourself just now. You said the economy.
Exactly. Yeah. I drive an Econoline and I want to help the economy. So, and it's Economus. So it's all worth it. It's all worth it if it's worth it to you.
It's worth it to me. So let's go to,
yes.
You've got these fridges that are walk-ins. Is there anything in them that's super special that you're going to cook a meal for us with?
Well, that kind of, yeah. Ooh, a little sweaty talking about it. Always lamb shanks.
Yummy.
Lamb shanks. I like lamb shanks. They're good. And also, when you cook them, you can tell who wants to really be around you because they smell terrible when you cook lamb.
Do they really?
Yeah, it doesn't smell that good. It's like cooking tripe, octopus. There's certain animals that you cook and that used to be living and now they're dead, and you cook them and they don't smell that good. But they're like beef, like steak. You're like, whoa, somebody's grilling a cow.
Oh, yeah, steak smells amazing.
When so good. Yeah,
but lamb doesn't smell good, huh?
Lamb doesn't smell that good. Lamb is good. I don't know. I pretty much like everything in the fridge. That's the only thing that I would have an abundance of is food. Everything else I like to get as I need because then I feel like I accumulate too much. But food, as long as it's something I can freeze, and these freezers are going to be top notch. These will be plugged in, and so I'll have all the good shit on there.
Yeah,
and steaks, lamb. Not much pork. I don't like if it's pulled, that's fine. But like that stuff I like to get fresh.
Is there a difference in freezing pork versus freezing lamb or beef or fish?
For me personally, like so if I have like brisket you can keep in the freezer for a long time.
You can keep it in there for 10 years.
Exactly. Yeah, I find pork is not quite as or like the pulled is not quite as
It's not resilient.
Yes, exactly. There's like a, I guess it is fatty in itself too, because I've had some.
I feel like you're just describing stuff that we used to both bring home when we catered for Bloodstones.
My brain, my brain.
You're like, brisket, pulled pork, beef. Like, are you just like listing off shit that we got to bring leftovers home?
Yeah, Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's like dude, I think about those days pretty often because I'm like, oh man, we used to get like, and then the huge trays of mac and cheese, and then it's just.
Oh, we weren't living in fear. There were only regular viruses. Oh.
Yeah, right. It was just, I got the cold, and then it was like, oh shit. But I don't want the cold now either, so I get it.
I know now after a year of not being sick at all, I'm just like, I don't want anything anymore, so I'm gonna just wear a mask forever. I'm gonna get one of those. Reggie Watts had like one of those companies sent him that like full head like thing you just wear over your head.
Oh my god!
I was like, it looks so goofy, but also just like you really don't trip when you're wearing that thing. Like,
yeah. What was it? It was like a beekeeper's uniform.
Oh no, it was like a full like a space helmet. It looked like it was like a. They send him all like cool. He always gets cool weird shit because he's a cool weird dude. So it's like one of these companies developed like a futuristic like just wear the spacesuit thing. I think it's like an air conditioned helmet. So and he wore it on his Instagram and he's so funny. But I hope that it never comes to that. But so now
neither would.
Getting back to since I was drifting off into Blade Runner dystopic futures, drifting back into the fun stuff of this kitchen situation. You're cooking some lamb up. What are we gonna do? We're gonna sit down at a table somewhere and eat a feast, or like what are you gonna make? What's getting prepared for us, or are you gonna prepare it for us?
I will prepare. I always like to cook, so I will have. We're sitting at the table, which will basically be like a bar style. So I like the idea of having on one of the islands, almost like a little breakfast nook. So it's like a little area, not even so much a nook, just like a little bar style. So some stools. And then if you want to bring your own stools, that's fine. You can bring them after dinner, before dinner. They have a room specifically for stools. And then you can sit down and we can have...
you have a stool room?
It's a stool room, yeah.
Anyone ever take a dump in your stool room accidentally? And you're like, what's going on in here? It smells like shit. You're like, isn't this the stool room? You're like,
yeah, it's the stool room.
It's full of bar stools. Like,
well, exactly. Which you can't... See, that's what I thought. I thought maybe if I could just have like a little toilet on the bottom of a chair near the bar, that'd be a bar stool. So you could have that area just one continuous motion, because you don't have to get up. You just go right when you're done. But always mashed potatoes, rosemary mashed potatoes, and then a little bit of a rosemary dressing on the lamb. I just use rosemary everything.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I'm a little overwhelmed by the scents, but, it's...
Oh, you're overwhelmed by the...
It's about time I leave. No, I'm just
joking. Yeah. I was just thinking of somebody's like, just being like, being like, too much. You're overwhelmed by the scents. Like, I'm sorry about that. And they come by with sage, and they sage the. Yeah. It's like, they should take care of it.
Everyone leaves with like bloody noses. They're like, I'm just kind of worn out sensually.
Like, oh God, sense? It's really healing in there.
I freaking love sage though. The color of sage and the smell of sage is like heavenly to me. I actually have some downstairs in a drawer that we burn every now and then just for fun.
Dude, I just like a couple hours ago, I just burned some. I was at a gas station last night after a show. Nikki picked up a bundle of sage. She got me one as well, and the guy behind the counter goes,
purchase at a gas station.
Yeah, dude. The guy was from Sri Lanka, so he gets it, Okay. And he was telling us, and he's like, sage kills the virus. You just put it in your room, your house, and then you open the doors, and it takes everything out. And it's worked.
Sage kills the virus. Like, oh man, we should have. Why did we not implement this? You're a genius.
I know. It's just spice. That's all it is.
If you just read about vitamin D and then light sage on fire, you'll be safe from this virus that's taking down people left and right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good. You just sometimes you put the sage, inhale it, get it through your body. Some people smoke sage.
Yeah, sage spliff.
Some people smoke them, right?
Do they really? I bet you Native Americans have smoked it here or there.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, it looks like it's like, it smells good, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you or that it's not poisonous. Because we as well know love smells great, but
it's poisonous.
It can be a bitch.
Love can be a bitch?
It can, not her.
So we're lighting off sage in your fantasy house dining room, eating some lamb. What else are we eating? Feed me.
Ice cream, everything.
Ice cream, lamb ice cream.
Ice cream right next to you. There's a bowl of ice cream, and it's a self-cooling bowl that the ice cream will never melt. You have awesome. as long as you want, take as long as you want to eat the ice cream. But I'll probably eat it before you do.
That's okay.
It's there for too long.
The ice cream's there's none left already. You're like, that bowl, it will keep the ice cream. And I turn to you with an empty bowl. Like,
Yeah, it's gone. And you don't have, but here's the thing. You don't have to even do that because there's unlimited. See, here's the thing. In this kitchen, there's unlimited food and the calories don't count and sugar doesn't make a dent. It doesn't even register. It goes into your body and then immediately gets vacuumed out and transported somewhere else. So you're never full. But the only thing is that being never full and never satiated means that you're never going to have consequences from it. So it's up to you for how long you want to spend in that kitchen. You know,
I'll die. I'll die on this hill of sage ice cream. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. I mean,
if they make sage ice cream, we ain't going nowhere.
Dude, if they have sage ice cream and lavender ice cream, you know, I mean, they have garlic ice cream. So
I've had it. I've had garlic ice cream. I've had ice cream with bacon. I've had Thanksgiving ice cream at Salt and Straw, which had like gravy in it and like turkey.
Really?
And yeah, I'll eat anything.
What the hell?
If you make it into ice cream form, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Lavender honey is my favorite, but also any kind of Earl Grey or jasmine tea or anything like that ice cream. And then, but I think sage would be like freaking rad. What would you go for if you could like invent a flavor right now for this meal? We're sitting here, we're full on lamb. We got greasy lamb lips, satiated. But now it's time for some like unique ice cream. What ice cream are you getting that's invented?
I'm probably doing a lavender Nutella ice cream.
Ooh, that's an interesting combo. I could try that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I never realized how much lavender. Like I'll take the lavender pills and you burp up.
Yeah, you
lavender.
gave me one before. I just took it recently. It was really fun.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's such a weird thing because then it's oddly soothing.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like you're burping up and you're like, oh, everything's okay. Everything's okay.
Every burp feels like it's going to be all right. That's how they market it. Like, with every burp, you'll feel like everything's going to be all right.
I mean, it works, you know. Like I feel good afterwards. But yeah,
I actually bought lavender in the bag, like food grade lavender. I just have it in the closet, and you know, it's I just smell it every now and then. I open it up like a drawer of panties. I'm just
it's nice. It's not only is it good.
This is when I wish this was a live episode because that would have been the either the or the laughs, and it was just you and me steamrolling past a drawer of panties reference. I'm putting the perv hashtag riffs out there for folks.
Well, I mean, at that point, all you're doing is just making sure that the panties don't have any moths because lavender, you know, dispels the moths. The moths don't want to be around any lavender. So
I didn't know that, but that's beautiful.
Yeah, that and cedar.
Cedar ice cream sounds great.
Cedar, oh my God, hardly knew her. I love ice cream. That's it.
That's the end of the sentence?
That's I love ice cream.
In the words of our great governor of past, you son of a bitch.
I'm going to get
okay, so, I mean, that was just a great episode of what I wanted to do, which was something fun and focused on a particular room. That just, I thought that might be a fun thing. I'm all about experimenting, right? We're not even at 200 episodes yet. I'm just like excited for like, all right, we're bringing it back now, thankfully, after this crazy hiatus. Yeah. And I wanted to just do a kitchen and a meal. And I feel like we did that really well. And that was fun. And it didn't take a lot of prep time from you. It didn't take a lot of prep time from me, which is essential for how busy we both are. Me being a realtor and you being a comedian and investor and an actor and a lover. And
I'm glad you brought up the love part because a lot of people...
They don't accept that on your resume?
Ironically, they skirt past it. And I say ironically because I was born in the 70s. So...
And you're a fan of Alanis Morissette's number one and only hit.
Skirt State.
Song, Irony?
Irony, yes. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Isn't there a lot of irony, don't you think?
Yeah. I guess the song would have been different if she said, isn't that coincidental?
It's like Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
If he was actually on Parks and Rec.
Yeah. It's like Aziz Ansari if he had a longer neck. No, it doesn't make... Well... It does make some sense.
You know, that's the industry's number one complaint about Aziz is he's got a short neck. They always have to cheat the shots of him because they're like, we got to do something to make it look like he's got a normal size neck. Like, don't ever try to get him and Tom Cruise together acting because they won't know what camera points where.
No, they'll never have any idea. Wait, are you a Tom Cruise fan?
I grew up on Top Gun. I mean,
yeah.
Interview with the Vampire, Top Gun. If that's not enough to love Tom Cruise and seeing him yell at that crew at the beginning of the pandemic when they weren't taking it seriously, I was like, you know, I like this guy.
Yeah. He does his own stunts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does, right? I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Honestly, for like the way that people the shit that people get away with in this world. I was like, that's pretty cool that he actually like risks his own, his own neck out there. His neck. He can afford to risk his neck because he has one. And that's no offense to Aziz Ansari.
No, and it brings us back. Yeah,
that brings us back.
Just in the neck of time.
The neck of time.
The neck of time, which is like it's a giraffe reference.
There's something.
Lavender.
I'm thinking of a Wu-Tang lyric, something about roughneck business, but
with the roughneck.
Right?
With the roughneck.
From 36 Chambers. It is right. One of the greatest albums of all time.
With the roughneck business.
It's probably been mentioned in a few Wu-Tang albums.
Was that in No. Was that Raekwon? No.
Everybody loves Raymond Kwan.
Everybody loves Raekwon.
Ma!
That was a big pop. Sorry.
This is Pete Holmes.
Yeah.
This is Pete Holmes here to say.
Yeah.
The chef Raekwon.
Pete Holmes has a small mouth.
That's if that's your biggest problem, though, Sandro. It's like, okay, so it takes him 3 more extra scoops to get all the same amount of ice cream down that you and I had. I don't think you've got too much to complain about.
No. I'm not saying like a bad thing. I'm just like it's something I noticed about him.
Well, the fact that you notice things about Pete Holmes' mouth makes me wonder.
Good.
Not about you, but about Pete Holmes' mouth.
Oh.
Is there a competition for world's smallest mouth? Sign Pete Holmes up. Ladies and gentlemen, the human fleshlight, Pete Holmes. It's about to get even weirder on this podcast, folks. You made it really weird. Folks, how many references can I have? I actually went to a live taping of when he had his show, the Pete Holmes Show, which was freaking great.
Yeah.
Conan produced the Pete Holmes Show.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It was awesome. It was basically just Conan with different color backdrop and Pete Holmes, but it was great.
I forgot about that because I think was he doing it around the same time he was doing Crashing?
No, this is way before Crashing.
Way before Crashing?
Yep.
Okay. Back to sugar. We always go back to sugar.
You go back to sugar. Crashing, sugar, sage ice cream.
Yep.
Nutella lavender.
I'm not sure, sometimes I don't like the rose combination of stuff, like rose ice cream and rose.
Dude, I love rose water ice cream. There was a place called Sweet Rose, one of my favorites, and it was on Beverly and Stanley, right there, right by the Grove, and they went out of business way before the Pandy, sadly. But they were so freaking. Their mint ice cream was the only real mint ice cream where you're like, oh, this is like crushed up.
Oh, mint's good.
Like the flavor was so unique.
That'll save anything. Mint ice cream is so refreshing. It's it makes you feel like you
don't have diabetes from eating too much ice cream.
Yeah, it does because I associate it with brushing my teeth, which is something good you do for yourself. Because when you brush your teeth, you're never like, ugh, I hate that I did that.
That's how the credits are going to roll for this episode of Fantasy House with Sandro. It does brushing our teeth. The credits are rolling over us while we're brushing our teeth with ice cream.
Oh God, yeah. What ice cream was it like?
We're both brushing our teeth with mint ice cream from Sweet Rose.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're listening to this and you're in the LA area, there still is a Sweet Rose location. I believe it's either in the Valley somewhere, Santa Monica somewhere, or downtown LA. But you have to look it up, Google them. It's a great little ice cream spot. They make all their own ice cream. I want to say it's privately owned. But I feel like I used to talk to the owner, but she might have just been one of the managers there. But I feel like it's like a privately owned business by a woman that kicks ass. And they had to shut the one down in Mid-City, but I'm almost positive there's other locations still because I panicked when they closed. To me, people that own restaurants and ice cream parlors and bakeries, they're just other kinds of artists. And you know what I mean? It's just like I want to see Atmosphere come out with a new album. I want the ice cream maker to keep their business running. I want the person that's making the really cool, the beef tartars. I want them to fucking keep on doing their art. And Sweet Rose, they're still around. It's from what I know. So look them up. If you're listening to this in your LA area or you're going to be making a trip out here, any of our crime or Fantasy House listeners, support them. And most importantly, support Sandro. Sandro is one of the coolest dudes, one of the funniest dudes out there. I mean, what are you passionate about right now? Like this is. I want you to plug your social media and tell us what you're passionate about, what you're excited about right now.
I'm pretty. My social media is at Sandro, not Sandra, or at Sandro, not Sandra, depending on how you pronounce things. On all platforms. And what I'm passionate about right now is basically, and this is going to sound so weird, but I'm just passionate about kind of doing what I want to do in the moment that I'm thinking about it, which is like basically just like, like I like doing stand up. So when I'm doing stand up, I'm passionate about that. So whatever I'm doing, I just like to be passionate about that thing. I know it sounds kind of hokey or whatever, but right now it's anal sex. And, no, I'm kidding. But no, I'm really.
Whether you're
really,
giving or receiving this season, that's definitely keeps you in the moment.
They call it the Christmas of sex positions because it's a lot of good shit. A lot of good shit.
No, you definitely do have to pay attention when it comes to anal sex.
Oh yeah,
like if you don't have to pay attention while you're having anal sex, then you're pro.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Only a professional doesn't have to take that fucking stuff serious.
Yeah, you got to know what's going on. You got to pay attention. There's a lot of before and after work, if you know what I mean. A lot of investment.
This is definitely the most NSFW real estate podcast, for sure. I've listened to a few real estate podcasts where like the host is like a kind of like a Tony Robbins that curses a little bit, like a Gary Vee that says fuck, and you're like, no, that's not NSF. A real estate podcast where they go, anal sex is you gotta concentrate. I'm like, that is an NSFW real estate podcast.
That's how you do it. That's how you're talking about. That's an investment right there. Now, that's an investment in time.
Investment. Definitely a risky investment.
It is risky. Yeah, it's risky business. Speaking about Tom Cruise, but no, I like just comedy in general. I'm really passionate about performing lately. I like to go out there and talk about like just doing art, just doing something that you like to do that expresses yourself in some weird way. And the cool thing is that when somebody out there is like, "Oh, I like what you're doing," and you're like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll keep doing it then." And it makes you feel good. And my passion is basically just rambling.
Way to end it with that, dude. So guys, look up Sandro at Sandro, not Sandra, not Sandra. Sandro, not Sandra. And we'll tag you on Instagram.
Yeah,
all that good stuff. Dude, I'm so glad that you're doing well, and it makes me so happy.
You too, buddy. You're the best. Every compliment you give me, I can give right back to you tenfold.
We're just a couple of dudes, 69, complimenting each other.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Always,
But it's authentic, dude. Like you inspire, and you are, you're my road dog. I love you, and I'm just grateful that you took the time to do this with me. And it was special that we got it started again together. Like it means a lot.
Yeah. In my mind, we're always on our way to San Miguel. We're always going to the ranch. We're always in that never-ending road trip. We need to post a hashtag on our way to San Miguel, dude. Let's freaking do that. As soon as I get off the phone with you on that, we're doing that. Yeah, I'll read it. I love you, dude. Thank you so much for doing this. I love you, buddy. Thank you guys so much for listening. Go ahead, give Sandro a follow at Sandro, not Sandra. It's going to be on our Instagram. And hit the share button. Send this to someone you know and love and that can handle some of this ridiculous meta riffing that Sandro and I did. And thank you guys so much for listening. I feel like a hashtag blessed guest getting to be there in Sandro's kitchen, eating the Sandro meal and getting to make this podcast with you guys. The world's #1 NSFW real estate podcast, Fantasy House. All right, you guys, be silly, have fun.